Now, you might think that killing a wanted terrorist ahead of an imminent attack and defending oneself from over 450 rockets would be an easily defensible policy, but the internet is its own animal, and social media shows a very different side of things that you wouldn't normally expect. Well, here to discuss is Michael Dixon, the Executive Director of Stand With Us in Israel. Thank you so much for joining with us. What did you see on social media during the latest round of Gazan violence, and is that normal?
Well, let's check back. At 4 a.m. in the morning, Israel took out Baha Abu al-Attar, the Islamic Jihad terror leader, and immediately we go into gear monitoring what's on social media and also putting out content. And then pretty much from then around the clock on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, you see something that is in a trend that we've seen before, which is a constant stream of misinformation from anti-Israel groups that feeds into the information stream and people take as read. So we try and counter that wherever possible.
So is Israel and Stand With Us maybe preemptively directing the narrative then?
Well, we're an independent organization, so we speak with our own voice, but we very much do want to support Israel on the global scene, and we want to educate people about what's happening. So immediately we're telling people who this Islamic Jihad leader is, that he has blood on his hands, that he's responsible for hundreds of terror attacks against Israelis that have injured and killed them, and why this has happened. And then when Israel is under a rocket barrage, we try and tell them what it's like to live under rocket fire for everyday Israelis and have people understand their existence during wartime.
So what has been the response, and I suppose more specifically the anti-Israel response that you're getting to this narrative, to the information that you're
Well, what's interesting is that international media often misreports, but sometimes underreports. So, for instance, you will rarely see what it's like for Israelis who are not working, not going to school, hunkering down in bomb shelters, what it's like in their everyday life, featured on international media. So that piece is completely missing. We try and fill in the gap. And we have a member of staff who lives right on the Gaza border, as close as it possibly is to be, sharing her own story and the story of her family, and telling stories like that that people will know. And we also see misinformation. So, for instance, we saw Amnesty International highlighting the fact that a human rights office was bombed in Gaza and blaming Israel for that. We shine a light on the fact that a prominent reporter told them that actually this was Islamic Jihad firing a rocket on themselves.
Yeah. Well, okay. So do you maybe have like a big story that you'd want to share that you shared recently?
Well, one of the big things we do is, in addition to countering misperceptions and actual misinformation, is getting people to rally and support Israel, both in the real world, on campuses and in the community, and also online as well. So we set up dozens and dozens of WhatsApp groups, reaching out to tens of thousands of people. Wow. During the war, we reached, I'm saying war, but it was a conflict officially. We reached 15 million people around the world on social media, and we then asked them to send in their support for Israel. We received video messages from all over the world, having people in different languages express their support, which was really good.
That's incredible. Okay, but then, so if Israel and the IDF do a good job on social media, do you think that that would maybe help in the future with anti-BDS, with, in general, like, maybe it'll even prevent a war?
Look, there are 193 countries in the world. There's one Jewish state. And its army has to primarily defend the life of ordinary Israelis. Now, in addition, it also gets information out, which is great. We can all play a role, though, and as a grassroots organization, we can help people around the world get Israel's story out. The IDF sends out information and images and videos in real time. We can help by sharing them, by getting Israel's story out and having people understand the reality of what's happening.
And do you see other militaries going to the extent that the IDF goes to maybe defend itself and from anti-Israel propaganda?
Well, the fact is they don't have to. So the IDF goes above and beyond because it needs to. And therefore, there's a role that we can all play. As everyday people on social media, we can reach out to people. I saw my own daughter was telling me that most of the information she saw about Israel on Instagram was coming from Stand With Us. So I was pleased about that. Wow. And we can really get information out, whether it's to teenagers, to communities, to people all around the world. Everyone can help.
All right, Michael, it's a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming in today and sharing some of the stories with us.
Thank you very much.